We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios in Colombo with the latest news from around the world and here at home. This is Primetime News and I'm Mahina Bongzo.
Good evening, I'm Shayan Jarampati. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
President has not mentioned any involvement of an Indian intelligence service in the alleged plot to assassinate him, says PMD. President holds urgent meeting with the Indian High Commissioner. DIG Nalaka de Silva, who was in charge of the Terrorists Investigations Division, interdicted. Former Minister Johnston Fernando acquitted and released of all charges over misappropriation of SATOSA funds.
The President's Media Division issuing a release says the President has not mentioned any involvement of an Indian intelligence service in the alleged plot to assassinate him. The PMD issued this press release after an article was published in the Hindu newspaper today.
The Hindu newspaper reported today that at Tuesday's cabinet meeting, President Sirisena reportedly said, quote-unquote, "The Indian national must be a raw agent trying to kill me." The article goes on to say, quote-unquote, "The Indian Prime Minister may not be aware. That is often the case. Trump may not be aware of CIA's similar moves." Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is due to reach India during the weekend and call on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The media reported today that the President did not approve a cabinet paper submitted by the Prime Minister to hand over the East Terminal of the Colombo port to India for development. Issuing the release, the President's Media Division said the President has not mentioned any involvement of an Indian intelligence service in the alleged plot to assassinate him. The release goes on to say that at the said cabinet meeting yesterday, the President emphasized the need to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the alleged assassination plot. The release further says, among other topics discussed at various times during the said cabinet meeting, was the development of the eastern terminal of the Colombo port. The President's Media Division says the High Commissioner of India called on the President this morning, and during the meeting all matters were clarified and bilateral relations were reassured. Secretary to the Cabinet of Ministers S. Abhay Singha has also issued a release today stating that the statements published by the newspapers were false. No, there was no such statement made by the President at yesterday's cabinet meeting. Yes, he said that there is something against him. This was not said at this moment, it was said some other time. What happened to Nalaka Silva? I do not know still. I have not been informed. Not just the Hindu. What has been reported by all the newspapers is wrong. Why would the Hindu be special? The Hindu newspaper had published this article when the Prime Minister is due to engage in a tour to India this Friday. Yesterday, they reported that the progress of certain projects that are to be carried out by India in Sri Lanka are slow. The Hindu reported yesterday that from the Indian side, priority projects in the island include the Mattala Airport near the China-controlled port in the southern Hambantota district, the Palali Airport in Jaffna in the northern province, the Trincomalee oil tank farm in the East Container Terminal at the Colombo port, and a liquefied natural gas plant in Keravalapitia, north of Colombo. One can question as to whether there is a conspiracy to create a turmoil after the President is said to have made a strong statement about the country's resources. On a prior occasion, Maria Al-Habib of New York Times filed a report that the former President had obtained a bribe from China. Maria Habib was based in New Delhi, and several weeks after her article, the former President called on the Indian Prime Minister. When the Prime Minister is about to travel to India, once again, The Hindu, which is an Indian media outlet, is truing to report certain facts about the President. The editor of the Hindu newspaper, N. Ram, and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe are close friends. They have met each other on several occasions here at home as well as in India, and the newspaper has written many articles praising and commending the Prime Minister. It is clear before the public of the country as to who has the ability to publish a statement allegedly made by the President on international media. All this is unfolding against a backdrop where the former TID chief DIG Nalaka de Silva is being investigated for plotting to assassinate the President. 2 LMG-type firearms were issued to the TID, and those weapons too are now at courts. The various parties that are revealing details about this case have cast suspicions on the involvement of the IGP of the country as well. When an Indian national was arrested for being involved in the case, the Indian High Commission in Colombo was quick to respond, saying that the arrested individual was mentally ill. The High Commission made this statement, and it is not clear as to what scientific data backed their claim. Don't these issues raise serious concerns among the public?
He had a map in his hand which he claimed he got from the post office. When questioned, he said they drew the mail route for him. This person tells me about all the secret assassinations around the world on the second day he came. This is a person who was well informed about these secret assassinations. So this is no ordinary person. That is something that even I understand. This person continues to speak of how people are killed by chemical attacks and poisonous weapons. He said you must protect yourself because there is a threat to your safety. And if there is no one for your protection, I will stay with you. This Indian national who was taken into custody came to my house twice looking for me as well. When we looked into who this person is, turns out that the name he produces in Sri Lanka is not the name he carries in the RAW organization. His name is Rajendra Kumar. Spies trained by RAW are given an identity card and an identity number. The identity number Rajendra Kumar is given by RAW is RB317217/VJ. Rajendra Kumar had first come to the country before the 2015 presidential election as a person seeking political refuge. He has since been working as a spy for RAW. He has been living here not by earning through a job, but with the money given to him by RAW. This is why the Indian High Commission was quick to state he was a mental patient the moment he was arrested. The people of Sri Lanka expect a clarification from those who are accountable to validate the claims made by Namal Kumara and Vimal Veerapangsa as true or false. Nevertheless, it is clear that what is priority to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe at the end of the day is to sell off the country's valuable resources to other countries in the world. He has been given no power whatsoever to create agreements with another country. He does not have the mandate of the cabinet at the very least to do so. The people of Sri Lanka are already facing the consequences of the free trade agreement Minister Malik Samaravikrama signed with Singapore. The general public are well aware that those who have signed such agreements using the people of this country as scapegoats have certainly made their own pockets full. The bottom line is, they are selling this country to the world through various conspiracies. At a time when all routes of income to the country have collapsed, and at a time which is opportune for the country to generate income, Ranil Wickremesinghe is practically donating and auctioning off the country's economy to the regional powerhouses as if it were his personal property. Therefore, we question, what right does the Prime Minister have to do this? What right does he have to hand over the country's resources to the powerhouses in the world? We report, you decide.
The National Police Commission this evening approved the recommendation made by Minister of Law and Order Ranjit Maddama Bandara to interdict DIG Nalaka De Silva, who was in charge of the Terrorist Investigations Division.
The recommendation was directed this morning to the National Police Commission in a communique bearing the signature of Ministry Secretary Padmasiri Jayamanna. The Ministry of Law and Order had decided to interdict Nalaka De Silva based on the information revealed from the ongoing investigations on the alleged plot to assassinate the President and the Defence Secretary. The Minister recommended the National Police Commission to send DIG Nalaka De Silva on compulsory leave after allegations were made against him.
India's junior Foreign Minister MJ Akbar has resigned after numerous women accused him of sexual harassment and assault. The former prominent newspaper editor is the most high-profile figure to be named in what is being called India's #MeToo movement.
Indian Minister MJ Akbar said earlier today he had resigned to fight allegations of sexual harassment levied by several women, the biggest scalp in the country's #MeToo movement that gathered momentum last week. Akbar has filed a defamation suit against one of the women who have accused him of a range of inappropriate behavior during his career as a journalist before entering politics. The hashtag #MeToo movement, which began in the United States more than a year ago in response to accusations of sexual harassment and abuse by powerful men in the entertainment industry, gained traction in India in late September after the actress Tanushri Datta said prominent actor Nana Patekar behaved inappropriately on the sets of a film they were shooting in 2008. Patekar has denied any wrongdoing.
Shalinda Jansen of Gateway College, Colombo clinched 9th place in the 200 meters event at the Youth Olympic Games in Argentina. Jansen was placed first with a personal best in the second round.
Here, an expectant hush around the stadium. We'll be looking for Cladira to make a little bit of an inroad, but it's a good bend by Jansen. And now Roberts of Canada coming through on the inside, dragging Kivikas with her, but the Sri Lankans going wonderfully here. Jansen with that very distinctive high arm thrust. She's pulling away from the Canadian. Really good run from the Sri Lankan.
According to the rules of the Youth Olympic Games, the winner will be chosen not through a final race, but by adding the timings clocked in the two phases of the preliminaries. The athlete who clocks the best time in the two races is chosen as the winner. Thereby, Shalinda secured 9th place in the 200 meters by clocking a total of 49.07 seconds in her two races. Shalinda clocked 25 seconds in her first race and 24.07 seconds in the second. Shalinda Jansen holds the third best timing in the 200 meters junior event in the history of athletics in Sri Lanka. Only Susantika Jayasinghe and Damayanti Dausha presides her.
The Kurunegala High Court ordered the release of former Minister Johnston Fernando and two others who were remanded over allegations of misappropriating items from Satosa.
The Attorney General had filed a case against 3 people, including former Minister Johnston Fernando, over the misappropriation of goods worth more than 5 million rupees from Lak Satosa during the previous regime. Lawyers representing the former MP stated the evidence given by 2 police officers from the police FCID are contradictory. The lawyers have also pointed out there are reasonable doubts over deliberate changes made to the evidence in the documents relating to the case. Considering these facts, Kurunegala High Court Judge Menaka Vijayasundara ordered the release of the suspects over the failure to submit adequate evidence. The truth has emerged victorious for the second time. They put me in jail for crimes that I have not committed. They created an investigation unit in the name of FCID that plays to their own tune. We clearly stated that this institution is illegal and that is controlled from temple trees. Those who speak high of democracy, such as the Prime Minister and members of the JVP, are the ones who control this unit. Whatever the case must be put forward to the courts, which only gives an independent decision. I will take legal action against the FCID and all those responsible for this fake allegation and ensure such a thing will not be done to anyone.
The appeal filed by former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa seeking to prevent his arrest under the Public Property Act in connection with the alleged misappropriation of 33.9 million rupees for the construction of the D.A. Rajapaksa Memorial Museum was postponed to the 2nd of November.
President's counsel Ramesh De Silva, appearing for Gotabaya Rajapaksa, informed court there was no requirement to continue with the appeal as the Attorney General has promised his client would not be arrested over the alleged incident. He informed court further facts on the matter would be produced at the next hearing, and thereby the case was postponed.
Speaking at a media briefing today, State Minister Sujiva Senasinghe explained about the allegations levelled at the high-speed railway project.
The BOI cannot approve concepts. Financial factors and information of previous projects have to be provided to the BOI. Approval cannot be simply granted to concept without these information. BOI is a powerful institution. When such an institution provides a letter of approval, that carries a lot of weight and large concessions can be obtained. That youngster cannot respond to questions about who the directors are or from where the money comes. It is supposedly confidential information. Since this approval cannot be obtained, attempts are being made to obtain approval through threats. This person's name is Anton Deshapriya. This is the younger brother. The brother is one of our directors. This person's name is Nicholas Shrimal. We also found out about another project that was submitted to BOI concerning a sausage factory. That is bankrupt and the property has been seized by the People's Bank. This is the property located in Jayala. 5 billion rupees are going to be invested in it. We will definitely file legal action. The President and the Prime Minister should be held responsible. This has been sent to the President's office. I don't know whether he is aware of this or not. They should at least inquire from me about the issue. They should ask me whether it is true and whether I am guilty or not in this matter. They should say we will protect you. It has come to a point where a decision has to be made whether or not to engage in politics.
MP Hirunika Premachandra arrived at the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division to hand over a letter today.
There were media reports about allegations against me stating that I have obtained 20 million rupees from the Magan Agama Development Funds. That is false. I came here to hand over a letter to the director of the FCID to inquire if anyone has lodged a complaint alleging that I have obtained the money. If there had been a complaint, I will request them to publish it. I have not been summoned yet. I came here to request them to summon me and inquire into this.
In an article under the heading Economy in Disarray, Banks Flourishing, Can This Be True? On the Daily FT, Prasad Edri Singha highlights the current issues in the banking sector.
The article says it is earlier reported that the growth in bank credit accelerated in August despite the tight credit and money conditions and rising non-performing loans in the banking sector. Sri Lankan banks in total have disbursed new loans worth Rs 700 billion during the first 8 months of this year, a growth of 10.9% compared to 524.9 billion rupees reported for the first 8 months of 2017. The NPAs of non-banking financial industry have been inclining for the last 12 months rapidly, and it was a clear indication and an early warning to say that the country's economy was not doing well. Subsequently, after a couple of days, it is reported non-performing loans, a key indicator of banking industry's asset quality, rose to 3.6% by the end of August from 3.4% in July and 2.5% at the end of 2017. It is said that during the first 8 months, the total non-performing loan volumes rose by 58% or by 94 billion rupees to 255 billion rupees. The report further said in August alone, the non-performing loans grew by 6.7% to 16 billion rupees compared to the growth of 4.7% or 11 billion rupees in July. The numbers show that banks have rescheduled some 155 billion rupees worth loans during the first 8 months so that their non-performing loans look smaller and the balance sheet more appealing. As per the data available for the last year, this is an increase of over close to 70% in rescheduled loans. Hence, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is said to have estimated the likely NPA ratio at 5% by the end of August.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena has decided to dissolve the director boards of People's Bank, Bank of Ceylon and the Board of Investment with effect from midnight tonight. A senior officer attached to the Presidential Secretariat confirmed the respective bodies have been informed about this decision. Reports claim irregularities had taken place in the respective institutions in the past, which led to this decision. On to other local news, journalists once again raised questions about the fuel price formula at the Cabinet media briefing today.
The Minister of Finance said he himself will come forward and explain it to you. Yes, but the Finance Minister will explain this and hand it over to you. Fuel prices are increasing everywhere in the world. I was in America and it was the same there.
A decisive Sri Lanka Freedom Party meeting was held last night. The significance of this meeting is that it was held amidst varying views on a caretaker government.
The Sri Lanka Freedom Party Central Committee met last night under the patronage of the President. The 2-hour discussion mainly focused on the restructuring of the party. 2 new committees were appointed and were handed responsibilities. The restructuring of the party will be done as soon as possible. One committee is headed by Minister Ranjit Siyamala and the other is headed by Minister Dayasri Jayasekara. The ones who didn't participate informed us in writing, including Minister S.P. Disanayaka. A 15-member group had sent a letter to the party and the entire article was read, but there was no discussion what it was about. The chairman of the party, President Maithripala Sirisena, instructed the party to report that letter.
It is up to us to consider how far we would take a suggestion of a group that is no longer with us. Therefore, it's up to us to decide.
The UNP Working Committee gathered at the party's headquarters, Sirikota, today.
The meeting was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. If a caretaker government is being constructed, then that is the suitable thing for the party that you represent. All of that is speculated by the media. In my opinion, there is no such thing happening. Whatever said and done, strong and practical solutions should be given to the issue of livelihoods of the people of the country. They should move forward with some sort of economic management to ease the day-to-day lives of the people. That is my opinion. Meanwhile, the journalists questioned about the ministers who gathered at the working committee and left. No, today is Wednesday. It is a working day. The date is irrelevant. We put it on the day that everyone can attend. We discussed about making room to hold provincial elections as soon as possible. Our take on this is, if we are having the elections, we should have this in the old way.
Giving evidence before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on irregularities at Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering and Mihin Lanka today, Manager of Training and Standards at Lankan Airlines, Anura Bandara Galge, stated that the company was compelled to outsource certain maintenance operations to foreign companies due to non-compliance of standard industry practices.
Gallala's testimony revealed that in June 2017, maintenance activities at Sri Lankan Airlines were not considered satisfactory by the European Aviation Safety Agency, forcing the airlines to surrender their certification until deemed fit to execute base maintenance activities. The witness revealed that this certification was important for the leasing of aircraft, as conditions of the lessor must be met in accordance with EASA regulations. This was not the first time the airlines failed to comply with industry standards. In the year 2016, the European Aviation Safety Agency had reported a number of repetitive discrepancies in demonstrating compliance, staff competency and maintenance of aircraft. In June 2014, it was deemed by the European Aviation Safety Agency that Sri Lankan Airlines did not comprise of sufficient facilities for painting of large areas of aircraft due to the non-availability of an aircraft hangar door. According to the witness, the construction of a hangar door was a cost too large for the airlines to bear, and painting operations were outsourced to Etihad Airways. Newsfirst reported in July last year that the national carrier had delayed to return an Airbus A320 aircraft to Air Indigo Airlines, which resulted in a penalty fee of $1.523 million or a staggering 236 million rupees. It was this aircraft that was sent to Indonesia on the 16th of April last year for maintenance purposes that incurred another $75,000.
And that is a wrap of Primetime News tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Shahin Jarampati.
And I'm Mahina Bongzo. Take care and good night.